Hey, what's up? So yeah, as I mentioned in my last top 10, I have turned on a wrestler before. Actually, I could think of three wrestlers that I've actually turned on. And that's what I'm going to talk about here right now. These are the three wrestlers I've turned on. So if I'm going to swear at some point, I will say earmuff the kids. But other than that, this will probably be not too much, not too angry, but more of a disappointment. And my number one, well, when I get to it, you'll understand what kind of emotion I have there. So here we go. Number three on my list is The Rock. Now, I was a big fan of The Rock in the Attitude Era and through the early part of the Ruthless Aggression Era. And I was happy that he was able to find success outside of the WWE as an actor. And, I've seen some interviews where he was trying to distance himself a little bit from being The Rock, even though that's how people know him. But to me, I was like, well, it's not that bad, I guess. And then he came back before WrestleMania 27, and my brother and I were like, oh, this is going to be great. The Rock is good on the mic. He knows how to cut a really good promo, promote WrestleMania 27. We were looking forward to it. If anybody's going to help WWE, it'll be him. But instead, he made it all about him and Cena. Again, I've said it before, Cena was the patsy in that. And The Rock was the one mainly just making it all about him, all about The Rock. It's all about The Rock. And people complain about WrestleMania 28 with what happened in the WWE Championship match not being the last match. Well, try and beating The Miz and having The Rock come in with the WWE's help, try to overshadow him in his own WWE title defense. It's his match, it's his title, it's his championship, and he's the one defending it, but he's not the one getting the attention, not the one that's the focus is on. It's all about The Rock and Cena. And so when that happened, I was like, what the hell, man? Like, you can't do that if you're going to not put the emphasis on the WWE champion, what was the point? I mean, and then you had the whole year-long thing with Rock and Cena, but Cena's the one doing all the work in that because The Rock's not going to show up every week for that. Not to mention, at Survivor Series that year, again, you could have had R-Truth and The Miz, who were really great as the Awesome Truth. I really liked them. They were fun, and they had good chemistry together. But instead of having it be, John Cena needs help taking on the Awesome Truth, instead it was all about The Rock again and Cena. And again, The Miz and R-Truth were shunted to the side and made like the C note on this. Instead of being toward the top, they were down here instead. And I was like, come on. You got to be able to build talent. And The Rock is not doing that when he's just completely overshadowing The Miz and R-Truth. I mean, by the end of it, he had made 3 WrestleManias, a Survivor Series, and a Royal Rumble all about him. And I was like, But what's interesting is that I actually was able to not really get over it, I guess, but like see The Rock in a more positive light as the years have gone by. He's come back and he's not made about himself, thankfully. He's been able to showcase other talent, but that first 2 years or so, from WrestleMania 27 until WrestleMania 29, I was like, yeah. But I moved on from that, and I was able to see him promote other people, and hey, I started to like The Rock a little bit more. Not so much with number 2 on my list, which is CM Punk. Now, I enjoyed CM Punk. I thought he was really good in the Straight Edge Society. I mean, thankfully, I was never into reading all the dirt sheets and knowing about his past and the indies and all that. So I wasn't all up on CM Punk's jock like the IWC, where I was enjoying his work only in the WWE. But there are times I was like, yeah, he's okay, but I don't really see what the big deal is. That I've had a couple friends say, oh, he's really good, but I was like, yeah, I don't see it right now. But then, he showed that he was actually really good. He was a really good wrestler. and he has great ability to work the mic, and it was fun to watch him. But then he just upped and left. He quit. And then, to me, what was really messed up was months later, after walking away for 6 months, he tries to act like the victim. I was like, you're not a victim. You walked out. You quit. And then I'm like, no, I didn't quit. I was fired on my wedding day. You left for 6 months, and then you tried to sue the WWE for royalties you didn't earn because you didn't fulfill the terms of a contract. Like, even Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he talked about that time he walked away, he said, yeah, I lost the right to those royalties because I didn't fulfill the contract. But CM Punk, when he was talking about it on his friend's podcast, The Art of Being a Hanger-On, which is what his friend is, he basically was, again, trying to make himself the victim, and, oh, woe is me, and I had to work with The Undertaker instead of being the WWE Champion. And he acted as if he was above an Undertaker match at WrestleMania. Then this was before the unthinkable happened at WrestleMania 30. And my thoughts, before I go to my thoughts, with the kids, my thought when I heard this was like, you know what, fuck you. You're not above a match of The Undertaker at WrestleMania, you selfish dickwad. You can earmuffs the kids. But to me, I was like, no, you're not above The Undertaker. You may think you're this great, world famous performer and athlete, but here's the thing: The Undertaker is on a whole other level than you are. You're not on his level. You're like here, and The Undertaker is here. All right, for 25 years of wrestling in the WWE, all those matches he's been in, all the times he spent really helping keep WWE from going under at times. Yeah, he is so much more above you. And this was one of the reasons I turned on it, because, like, come on. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Batista, Edge, none of them have ever said, oh, I had to work with The Undertaker. Oh, I had to work with The Undertaker. No, they're like, oh, I get to work with The Undertaker. This is great. I mean, and Randy Orton, he never came out and said, oh, I gotta work with The Undertaker or WrestleMania. No. And these are big names, big stars. And they were willing to, have that match with The Undertaker and steal the show in some cases. And what's interesting is, I saw an interview with John Cena before The Unthinkable happened where he said he would relish a chance to go against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So it's like, come on, you don't act like you're above this match. And the other thing that during this interview I was like, oh, this guy really believes his own hype, is when he talked about how he was going to win the match against the Shield, but how dare WWE make him, tell him that he has to make the 3 members of the Shield look good, or look strong, as the stupid joke goes, make them look good because there's money in the Shield, and there is now but he was like, oh, they want me to make them look good. Oh, you want to make Roman Reigns good. And that is when really picked up steam, and they started turning on Roman Reigns. CM Punk, by his own admission, has said, I don't burn bridges, I blow them up. Sometimes with me on them. So yeah, he decided to just take out WWE and hurt whoever he could in this interview. I mean, he talked about his medical issue, but you know what? If what he was saying was true, he could actually prove it, and he was actually ended up getting sued by that doctor who's saying, no, I can prove that what I did was medically accurate in your case. And he just seemed to want to hurt whoever he could instead of just trying to walk away and live his life from then on. And he tried to hurt Roman Reigns in that interview, and we've seen the results of that. But the person he hurt the most, though, was AJ Lee. That's the person he hurt the most, because the followers of Dirt Sheetism were talking, and I didn't even know this for a while. I was like, why the hell are they chanting CM Punk during her promos and her matches? And it was then my brother and I went on troll so far. I was like, oh, they found out that they were dating and then they were engaged and then they were married and then it became, oh, yeah. At that point, she was no longer. That was when she was no longer allowed to be AJ Lee, and she could only be CM Punk. And it got so bad from that's when the whole "you suck Cena, you suck Punk, you suck Bryan" came in the day after WrestleMania 31. I mean, he hurt her more than anybody to the point where she quit. Well, she didn't quit. She retired. She had to retire in order to finally get some sort of recognition outside of being CM Punk. And yeah, that's what really had me turn on him. I was like, no, you hurt all these people just because of your own pettiness. That's pathetic. But as much as I don't like what he did, as much as I turn on him, he is not number one. What he did isn't nearly as bad as my number one. And that person is Chris Benoit. Do I really need to go over this? Do I really need to tell you why? I do. Oh, crap. Okay. So I watched Chris Benoit in WCW. Thought he was a good wrestler. And him, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn came to WWE. I was kind of surprised, but I was happy to see him there. Of the four, Eddie Guerrero was always my favorite of the four. And then see him gradually work tags and become Intercontinental Champion and really show himself as a really good wrestler in the WWE. And I liked his Best of 7 series with Booker T in WCW and in WWE. It really showed Booker T as a solid singles wrestler. And I liked that. And I was glad when he won the WWE, sorry, not the WWE Championship, but the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20. I was glad that they were rewarding him for all of his hard work and having that great moment with him and Eddie Guerrero in the middle of the ring, with confetti raining down and them holding their titles up. But to me, all of that just gets thrown out the window, or for whatever kind of euphemism you want to say. It's ruined. His legacy is ruined because of one incident. And you know what I'm talking about. It's when he murdered his wife, his son, and then he killed himself. That was in 2007. I don't know what month, but yeah, I try to go back and watch a Chris Benoit match, and I can't. Especially the two matches that really defined his career as champion were 2004, the Rumble and WrestleMania 20. I try to watch them, and I really can't. I mean, not to mention, he has a lot of intensity throughout his matches, and this is something Chris Jericho has said, and that he can't really watch it because did he have that sort of intensity when it was killing his wife? And when he talks about his son in the promo to Royal Rumble 2004, and then at WrestleMania 20, after the whole confetti and the celebration, his son comes to the ring and Chris Benoit hugs him and gives him a kiss, and all the thing I can think of is that's the son he kills 3 years later. And it's just weird. And some people wonder why I hate the IWC so much, and one of the big things, the early things, was they took this tragedy, this horrible incident, and they made a joke out of it. The whole Chris Benoit, and make it seem like, oh, because WWE doesn't want to talk about Chris Benoit, they don't want to celebrate him because of what he did. They act as if WWE erased Chris Benoit from history when they didn't, and they make stupid jokes about it. And it's like, how dare you joke about this horrible incident? But it's not funny, and I can't think of Chris Benoit in a positive light. I really can't. I know this is a bit of a downer, and this is the most we're talking about, a sadness to this number one. So I got one more video coming up for the road to WrestleMania. My question at the end of this video would be, who are the wrestler that you turned on? And turn on for an actual reason, not just they got popular or they were shoved down our throats. Like, give an actual reason. So, look forward to my next video, and take care. Later.